Jacqueline Sims. Ms. Sims, you have 5 minutes, and please your name and address. Thank you.
My name is Jacqueline Sims. I live at 3612 Gap Road. What is a dictator? The Webster Dictionary defines a dictator as a person who uses power or authority in a cruel, unjust, or harmful way, keeping its people in poverty and ignorance. We are the victims of a dictatorship, and each of us has been affected in different ways. My story is all too familiar for Knox County teachers who have fallen victim to this dictatorship. The reason I decided to speak this evening is because I want everyone to know that Christina Graham's story is not unique. We, the teachers of Knox County schools, who have been non-renewed because we were told that we don't fit the vision of the school, are no longer remaining silent in the face of this injustice, but instead, we are survivors whose purpose is to inform everyone about the unfair non-renewal practices implemented in Knox County schools. Several weeks ago, I was angered while watching a local Sunday morning news show. A guest panelist said that Christina Graham's experience must be isolated because other teachers have not reported similar experiences. I shouted at the TV, "Why do you think the teachers aren't speaking out?" Why, you may ask. Teachers are afraid. They're afraid of losing their jobs. They're afraid that they will be blacklisted. Let me share with you a glimpse inside my story. As a Knox County school teacher, I was advised by a friend and colleague not to question anything, not to say anything that could be considered insubordinate, not to defend my position, and to do what I was told, even if I disagreed. However, this advice came too late for me. On August the 30th, 2013, I did defend myself after administrators from downtown visited my school. When the entourage of administrators and Board of Education members entered my room, I was showing a 5-minute long Knox County approved Discovery Ed video excerpt called Paul Bunyan. It was Friday, and my intervention class had studied hyperboles all week. The student's assignment was to identify, record, and explain a hyperbole from the video. One of the administrators from downtown was not happy with my lesson, and she asked why the children didn't have worksheets in front of them. I explained that the students were to record the hyperbole on the whiteboard and that I would use this activity as an assessment tool to check for mastery. Later that afternoon, I emailed a video to the administrator from downtown and my school principals showing my students explaining the meaning of the hyperbole that they chose. I now know that speaking up was a mistake. I've learned that Knox County teachers should remain silent if they want to keep their jobs. In fact, I was told to remain silent later that year. The week before TCAP tests were administered, my principal met with me to inform me that my contract was not being renewed. His reason? I wasn't a good fit for the school. I will never forget what he said to me that day. He leaned over toward me and he said sternly, and I quote, "I'm telling you to keep your mouth shut about this because I don't want this to make any waves in my school before TCAPs are given. If you don't keep your mouth shut, I will not give you a good recommendation." I did as I was told. You ask why teachers are silent. They're silent because of stories like Christina Graham's. I will not be silenced. I learned this week about an administrative procedure that you won't find on the website because it was never voted on by the board, but was implemented by the superintendent. Finding information about this administrative procedure took a lot of detective work because most of the people downtown I spoke with said they'd never heard of it and asked if it even really existed. The administrative procedure states that if a teacher's overall score, meaning the teacher's evaluation score is factored in with the school-wide test score, is a 2, then that teacher can't work or even substitute in Knox County for a period of 2 years. It also states that if a teacher's overall score is a 1, then that teacher is never allowed to teach in Knox County again. I was outraged because I worked at a failing school that scored a 1 overall, despite the fact that my evaluation scores were acceptable, and I hold a master's degree in education. I am ineligible to teach in Knox County ever again. I'd like to end my time with a letter written to me by one of my 5th grade students at the end of my first and my final year as a Knox County teacher. Dear Miss Sims, I want to thank you for caring about each one of us this year. I can honestly say that I hated school until this year. You made learning fun, and you challenged me to try hard, and you pushed me beyond what I even thought I could do. You're wonderful, and I will never forget you. I learned so much in science when we hatched chicks for a magnet project and when we invented things just like Leonardo da Vinci did. Thank you for taking the time to know each of us and for being interested in what we like to do for fun and what we want to be when we grow up. Well, you know what, Ms. Sims? I want to be a teacher just like you. I want to make learning fun so that my students, I'm almost done, will look forward to Mondays just as much as I do. I hope you will never forget me. I will never forget you. Thank you.